So they'll be calling you a radical twofold. So it's Shirtwaist Fire Day today, and so you want to honor those people that changed the world, those young women that had to jump in March 25th, 2011, locked in. Labor, textiles, clothing, it's 1,000 times even worse than it was then. And remember, it was legal to lock women in. Working, they had to jump to their desks. And those photographs changed the world. Gave us work weeks, gave us weekends, stopped childhood labor somewhat. Well, here in the U.S., we just do it now. So, number one, if you want to honor those women, honor that, just say, hey, just for a period, I'm not going to buy any new made clothes, which I've done that my whole life. I mean, I knew about the Shirtwaist Fire from the time I was a little boy. And what a great book. This, I think, came out in 2011, didn't it? So, as you know, I was leading up my movement, the Post-Ignorance Project, for the 100th anniversary of the Shirtwaist Fire on March 25th, 2011. But something happened 2 weeks earlier. FUKUSHIMA, that, Occupy was born on the back of that. I usually go to that event. I have many times. So, you want to honor these women? Just don't buy any new clothes. Buy vintage. I always have my whole life. Even when I was a millionaire, even when I was on Wall Street, everything I ever wore. I mean, the pants, slacks I have on, 1974. The boots I have on are 1984. This is 1994, all made in the USA with labor laws, not Bangladesh, childhood slave. I mean, we're consuming so much of the world's product now. I mean, it's disturbing. That great photos. I mean, I don't know. We've lost our conscience. People don't even care anymore. So I want to get to this article. It's in the San Diego Union. Oh, fuck. It'll make you throw up when you read it. So, as you know, I've been fighting sin and Onofre since the day it was built. So my first memories in my life were at hearings fighting them with my San Onofre Marine father. So the union comes out and says that the reef that was put out there decades ago, this article will make you barf. Scientists knew when they put it there that it was going to suck up all the fish, the plankton, kill them. It was going to, the hot water was going to be a problem on the kelp forest. But it took them years to figure it out. Now, it goes on in this. You cannot make this up. This is an important book, historical book. They made the people that were cheating. They weren't, the workers, but Senator PG&E was cheating on the exchange. Now, you read this article in the San Diego Tribune, and they call it, when they found the new generator to have some steam defects. Some generator fucking steam defects. What are you talking about? Oh my God, fuck panty painting fucking media to the new fucking level. They had a fucking nuclear accident at fucking San Onofre. Hello? A bad one. So what happened? They were jerry-rigging this up. Now, I have the shirt from this also, too. They made up a shirt. Where did I get this stuff? The people that are working on it gave it to me. They knew I was the activist. They know I've always been the activist. I don't know if the great Gene Stone has passed away since, all that great he worked at. Ace Hoffman, my reason. I mean, I used to talk to him at those hearings, every hearing, for all those years. Donnie Young, Dottie Gilmore, they've come late, but they're great. I love their work. Of course, Kathy Iwani, Orange County, she was in Fukushima, Japan. I mean, all the activists that have worked on, fought so hard, this grassroots, the greatest grassroots activist thing, but they were never going to tell us about this. I have this shirt, too, on the 2009 and the 2010. So what happened? Time for the generator to be switched out, right? It was wore out. You know, the water boiler. So PG&E, and by the way, Mean River Brown, PV chair, PV told me to go fuck myself in a hearing. He's head of the California Public Commission. He told a lot of people to do that. What a piece of shit. So what happened, it was time for the exchange. Now, San Onofre, the reactors, the beach, is actually owned by Camp Pendleton by the Marine Corps. That's right. The lease is up right now, by the way. The road, so the people that run the security there, they're all ex-Marines. I know lots of them. So they know me, fighting that piece of shit forever. So they alerted me in 2010, 2011, right as Fukushima's happening. I got word that, hey, they're cheating. They're taking I believe it was a Mitsubishi generator that had been approved by the NRC to exchange. They're using this Hitachi one that was about $100 million cheaper. And they were chopping up the money among everybody and anybody was getting a piece of the money. Now, these things are not public utilities. So, what happens to Kevin Blanche? Fukushima, I'm going crazy. I have a radio show that has, I was getting millions of views then. I was everywhere. It wasn't just my YouTube site. Everybody knows me down there. Everybody knows in the whole world I'm the anti-nuclear activist. I'm probably the world's foremost expert on these Mach 1, Mach 2 warrior pieces of shit. And Karen Kevin Silkwood try to make a sequel out of me. So they tell me, hey, they're supposed to be bringing it in by train, by rail. They're bringing it in by ship, I get word. What? Yeah, they're sneaking a cheaper one, lesser one in. So, I don't know where I'm reporting this on all my radio shows, on everywhere. I'm going crazy about this. And of course, I got leukemia. Fukushima happened, going crazy. Fukushima. I'm everywhere and everything. It's back when the First Amendment was still here and I could get my message out in a radical, intense way. As you know, that year, 2011, I got hit by the freight train called leukemia. Boom. One day stomach ache. And, it was like, it was over. Everything was over for me. It looked like it. Lights out. It ended up being misdiagnosed, the good, the bad, the ugly. But anyway, being AML de novo, which is and my marker was for it, which is an unsolvable leukemia. So I went into a bone marrow transplant unit at top of LDS East State. Bimbo Peterson, Vincent Hansen, all these doctors went to work on me. I was in a horrible situation. Way past horrible. You don't even know horrible. I went from 170 to 130. I'm going in and out of a coma. I'm clinging to fucking life in there fighting, and I'm getting all this word, and I'm trying to do a video here or there out of the window. I'm quarantined in there. So you can't make this up. So I'm getting so many emails a day, it's almost impossible to go through, but I know when I get emails from these guys and I would read them, immediately delete them. I knew that they were honest. So the whistleblowers inside, they're saying, hey, Kevin, they're cheating. Look at this. So Mitch from Channel 10 in LA, he gets involved. They're whistleblowing to him, whistleblowing to me. I'm telling as much as I can, getting as much of the word out. He sneaks it on the news. They send a little cropped out video. I get it out. We're doing everything we can, taking a lot of risk, by the way. And these guys are Marines that work there. A lot of them are ex-Marines. And they're cheating on the exchange to save money. Billions of dollars, and so they can rip everybody off. So This is the irony of this. I'm in the bone marrow transplant center. Looks like I'm going to die. I mean, I'm under my second round of chemo, and I'm just, the cancer just brutally, the average lifespan on AML de novo, like I had, is just a matter of a couple months. It's it's so brutal that, so in January, late January 2012, I'm starting to really suffer and really fall apart. Got no pigment in my eyes, blisters on my tongue. I'm living on a bag. I'm going in and out of a coma. It looks like I'm slipping away. You know, and they're trying everything to keep me alive. The worst night I ever had, the closest I came to death was January 30th and January 31st. I I mean, I went out for a long fucking time. And the nurses, when I woke up, they're like, I mean, both the nurses that were sitting there with me at the time were both crying. And I'm like, I come out of it, and they're like, oh my God. You know, and they tell me what happened. They said, no, you were out for a long ass time. And, you know, the irony of this is that's when the accident happened. It wasn't an accident. Steam defect? No, not a steam defect. They were cheating. And what happened when they got it all rigged up, they had Jerry rigged this thing to fucking together that it backed up into the core, which is the worst case scenario in a nuclear reactor. I mean, it's the worst case besides an earthquake or a tsunami. It backed all the way up into the core, and the pressure built up into the fucking core because the way they had it jerry rigged up, and they call it a steam malfunction. The NRC calls it a level 3 when their scoring goes 1 to 7, steam malfunction. Well, the steam malfunction backs in the core. There's a valve on these things. It's Custer's last stand. I mean, it's the last. It's the Alamo. And so that's where they were at. So what do? So very last, it's worst case scenario. They open the valve. What does that do? The radioactive, the core's active. The radioactive plumes. They have to vent it out. It's radioactive. They plumed it out all over San Clemente. That's an unarguable fact. On January 31st. And it was all kept secret, hush, hush. I found out I'm the guy that broke the fucking story to the world out of my fucking bone marrow transplant. I'm the guy that broke the story to the world that they had the fucking so-called accident because these guys are coming to me. They're emailing me. And I'm like, I'm so sick in the bone marrow, you know, and I've got, you know, I'm trying to get as much to do as what I can. I mean, it's pretty amazing that they made a book. You know, and it's not these workers' fault. They weren't the ones cheating it. So I'm linking it out. They're lying. They're trying to cover it up. They're trying to cover them up. So this goes all through 2012. I don't die. You know, I'm suffering. I start to come out of, that was my worst, and then I started a gradual progress. So 2013, 2012, the whole time I got a central line hanging out of my jugular vein. I finally get to come out of the bone marrow transplant center for a little while in June of 2012. You know, I got to come out a couple times. And April, I got to come out for a little bit, back in. Finally, we decided not to chemo me no more. I'm too sick for a transplant. So I'm under care, heavy care, LDS each day, all through 2012. You know, the Giants thing, you've heard me go off on that thing. I call myself the 2012 San Francisco Giants because my comeback was their comeback. The greatest comeback in sport history is that team. And so we get through 2012. I'm trying to report as much as this I can. They're covering it. They're trying to cover it up. They're lying. So my doctors finally says, I want to travel. And, you know, of course I can't. So finally, they even paid for it. A couple of the doctors paid for my trip. Because, I mean, I was broke by then. I had over $1 million I forked over to get in, and it was exhausted. So I went to New York in January. Because I wanted to go see my daughter. I wanted to go see my friends in New York. I wanted to go see my activists, the community, blah, 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 blah. Went. to the chemistry building, the biology building. Kevin Blanch's the biologist. That building's biology at NYU. The ironies. So, I'm heavily involved with Anonymous. So Aaron Swartz has been arrested for downloading the server. So January 11th, 2013, I'm in Brooklyn. I go to the courtroom, trying to negotiate a deal and I still say it's all connected to Fukushima. And his lawyers are trying to cut a deal. And Heyman and Ortiz. Oh, fuck. Obama administration won't cut. All he did was download the server in the end of my MIT. He didn't know there was a camera in there. They caught him. And yeah, that Aaron Swartz, the self-educate genius, the anonymous that Harvard and Yale propped him up. So it's a nonviolent crime. It's nothing. He's got good counsel. He grew up on MIT. His dad they won't cut a deal. What's the situation, the judge asks? 35 years is the deal. 35 years. For a nonviolent, and his attorneys fighting him up. They will not budge. Why? Well, this is the same Obama administration that put an 85-year-old nun, Megan Rice, in prison for a nonviolent thing. No, he tried to kill her. So he goes home and hangs himself. I broke down that day. That's the only time I've never broke down in this fight emotionally. I've got close a lot of times. When clinging to fucking life. I've had open heart surgery. I've never really emotionally broke. I broke down that day. I didn't know he'd hung himself. I think back of it. My daughter's like, oh my God. So I come home and I get word there's going to be a hearing on San Onofre. Gene Stone told me. So I plan on going. I'm sick. I fly down there, stay with Joni Ray at her house in Huntington and Beach. And so that morning, and I'm sick as fuck. I'm sucked up to nothing, whatever. So that morning we go to the reactor. We sneak into the parking lot and we go over there and there's busloads of the union workers there. Then we can see, I says, I know what they're up to. They're going to bust them into the hearing. So we walk through the crowd. We interview them all. We talk to you. That's some dangerous business, man. Joni Ray was brave about it and she got all those great interviews with him. And they're like, we're all on the come. We're trying to get in with the union. They just told us they'd feed us and bust us in. We just want to show for them. It was all fucking fraud. So we have the hearing. I'm due to speak. Gene Stone spoke, whatever. So the Highway Patrol, puts handcuffs on me out of nowhere and puts me in a little fucking room. For what? I'm due to speak. I'm always the keynote speaker in these. Look it up. I'm always the first guy up. One of them. The hearing, we exposed. I remember walking out after, first time I met Kathy Iwani, who was paramount on getting San Onofre shut down in Japan, her work with the school district, and we're all fighting to not let them reopen. They're going to reopen. And I told her, I says, no, San Onofre's done. She said, what do you mean? They're just refiring up. Everybody knew they would. They had no intention. I says, the only reason I know this is because this vibe came over me that day. I remember standing in their parking lot. There's, the Harvard planner who was with Gregory Jacko and those with NATO Con and the whole thing. But it was us, and we had a press conference. We had that great press conference. But that's the Big Bear cop killer had been caught that day, so it overflowed the news media. So our news conference didn't get up. And she says, what do you mean? I was sucked up. I weighed 120 something pounds. And I says, this vibe come over me. What is it? And I says, these angels, these people. I don't know. It was one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me alive. I was standing that beautiful in San, I'm standing in San Clemente in the parking lot there. And I just can sense it. I feel it. It's the first time I've ever felt this. I've been fighting this nuclear scumbags my whole life. It's over. And she's like, whoa. I remember to myself, no, and I told everybody, no, they're done. I can feel it. I can sense it. I told Gene Stone. I told everybody. That first Send Onofre shirt that I have, it's right there. That's the first one Gene threw out of the box. That's yours. I have that. That's shirt 1. And so kept fighting him. They're planning on reopening, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm the guy that announced it to the world. I got word because I have whistleblowers inside the NRC too. That's back when I had an army before they went after me. And I got like 4 o'clock in the morning. Send Onofre is shutting down. And the reason they're shutting down, they're afraid of our army. They're afraid of jail. Kamala Harris got involved. You know, her mother had died of cancer. She was the AG at Livermore, California, bringing star power to Earth. Kamala Harris was wounded over her mother's death. Her mother died in 2009 of cancer. And so she was fierce. She went after him. She's like, remember, she went after PV. She raided PV's house, found the goods. And then, of course, Micah Gary gets involved in those guys. And I did all the fucking dirty work. And there's a whistleblower act in California. Micah Gary, the lawyer, gets in, then he cuts a deal and makes $5 million off the fucking deal. When I did all the dirty work. A small group. None of us got anything. I mean, without Kevin Blanch's cancer, without my whistleblowing, without my connections down there for all those years, there's no way Send Onofre ever fucking shuts down. That's just an unarguable fucking fact. So they're saying that the kelp force is coming back. Well, let's get real. If it is coming back, you know, it's up against Send Onofre and Fukushima. They've always lied to us. Well, look at Diablo Canyon. The same thing's going on there. These water boilers, you know how much water they suck up a second? There was 410 nuclear reactors on the face of the planet. Post-Fukushima, they were down in the 200s. And so, oh no, that's what I heard on the internet. We got a nuclear renaissance. You know, so let's shed some light on this subject. So, here we go. Yeah, it sounds like a Geiger counter. So, anyway. I liked it better when I used my iPad, to be honest with you. But, yeah, boy. How many times is it going to ring? 80? I've had it set to it. And it's a spam call. You can bet. Still ringing. Jesus. I got to fix that. Anyway, so. Kamala Harris goes after them. They're going to be locked up in jail. You know, she raids their house. PV and Cherry, they cut it up, and it looks like they're going to jail. The only reason they shut down, they're afraid of jail. So the heat. It's so all these water boilers, that's all they are. Hell of a way to boil a planet, Kevin Blanch. Albert Einstein, hell of a way to boil water. So they have giant intake pipes, gigantic, and they suck up just ungodly, I mean, basically all the water on the face of the planet. That's why every nuclear reactor is next to a major water source. The ocean, you know, lakes, the Great Lakes, major rivers, you know, Palo Verde in Arizona, they're pumping the aqua or the wastewater, the recycled water. You don't think boiling all the Earth's water, what it does, it kills all the nitrogen. It kills, like Fukushima has the Pacific Ocean. The soup, the cloud, we call it as biologists. We call that, I call it the cloud. You know, the soup, the stew, the cloud, that's all the plankton. That's the staff of life. That's what whales live on, kelp lives on. That's what all these animals live on. When it boils it, it kills it all. And so these the water, ungodly amounts, it boils the water and then puts it back in. So they says, we're going to build this barrier reef off, just, you know, fix that. It didn't work. Of course it didn't work. That's fucking never worked. So now they're saying it's working. Well, that isn't what's working. The Barrier River isn't working. If there's anything coming back, let's see. It's been shut down since 2013. We're going on 11 years. So by shutting them down, it helps the ecology just from the water boiling aspect alone. Diablo Canyon ticked out. Why are we keeping Diablo Canyon open in California? So read this fucking article. Here's my Diablo Canyon evacuation calendar. You know, I've been at this for so long, my whole fucking life. Of course, nobody wants to hear about it now. Everybody's off in Trumpism, fucking Obamachism, fucking fairy taleism landing because they kettled me, went after me. whatever. And I get it. I'm a broken record on Balco. But, so, the only thing that's right about this article, a generator defect. What the fuck are you talking about? They were cheating on it. Fucking everybody. I mean, you can't even report the fucking truth and the reality after it's come out. A steam outfit. They vented fucking radioactive steam all over the place. By the way, it's coming right here to the Energy Solutions dump site. That's where it's all coming. Here. And it's hot because they had this accident. I mean, backed up in the core and they had to vent it out. It's radioactive as fucking hell. That fucking core venting. Look it up on the fucking NRC's fucking website. Look it up. Level 3, it's only level 3. Well, the scale only goes to 7. So it's the greatest grassroots accomplishment in activism history. Bar none. They had never intention. They were never going to fucking shut that piece of shit down without us. And when we get the major earthquake and tsunami, there, of course, Diablo's still there. In SoCal, you can thank us grassrooters. That shut that. Not only we got to shut down, it's in the dry cast containers. You know, flipping the soup can, that's where that was all developed. The dry cast container. That was the metaphor. I bit my fingernails that whole thing. I'm there the whole time, going back and forth, fighting cancer. I fucking remember telling Peter, Lisa, fucking Lori, all these activists, Rachel, all these activists that have come and gone. This long path of Kevin Welch. It's every. Fuck, I mean. I was such a nervous fucking wreck when they were taking the fucking waste and putting it in the dry cast container. I says, why are you so nervous about this? I says, I'll tell you why. Because they're so vulnerable why this process is happening. And if we get an earthquake, why this process, they're going to blame us as the activists. We're going to take the fucking heat. Because this process, I was so relieved. Remember the stuff, delay tax? I went to that hearing. I was the keynote fucking speaker for the NRC on the scratch canister hearing. That kid was a fucking phony. He was a setup. That was a ruse. Chuck and Nina, don't even get me going on those guys. They rolled in, fucking show up out of nowhere. Fucking, what's his name for the San Diego Union? The one time I said, Peter, look, he's got an energy solution. This is before they announced the contractor here at Utah Energy Solution. This is the San Diego Union reporter. He's got a neck thing on credential from Energy Solutions. I jumped his ass and he ran from me. Fuck. Such a fucking fraud setup. And then Holtec ends up being a bunch of fucking crooks. Looking them out at Oyster Creek. What's going on? They almost went to jail on Oyster Creek. Paid a fine to stay out of jail. So, you read this article. It's a big deal. And the one thing that is true in this article. We know that around the nuclear reactors, the kelp forest and everything will get better. If you quit boiling the fucking water. That's the aspect that people don't realize about nuclear energy reactors is the water boiling and taking out the staff of life. It kills all the plankton. It kills all the nitrogen that feed. Just like Fukushima has broke the chain on the ocean. I mean, so it says you read it and you make it out for yourself, but it's Shirtwaist fire today, and I've done so much work there. It's a very sacred place for so many of us. What a powerful. That's back when a real journalist took those photographs. Remember when that happened in Bangladesh? Nuclear Lies from Austria provide those guys. That's the same people that took that picture and laid them side by side. The Shirtwaist morgue and the Bangladesh, which happens constantly over there. So I remember when my beautiful daughters were little girls, and I'm hanging around this girl. I'd been divorced, blah, blah. I never really did get married. I mean, not really. And so, them daughters are young, and some girls like, well, if you're so idealistic, Kevin Blanch, because even when I was rich, I refused to buy anything new. I mean, I would buy new vehicles, new trucks when they were made in Detroit. I used to buy one new one every year for my construction company, but I would never buy garments and clothes. In fact, this is one of my favorites. I mean, I have a collection from hell that'll blow your mind. That's really one of my favorites. I love this one. It's made right there in Santa Barbara. So that's the best shit anyway, right? Right? I mean, it's so grand, so beautiful. My beautiful jacket I got in Austria, this 1922. How about this that I used to wear to the Shirtwaist fire? Yeah, that's it. I'm 1916. Was that made by the Shirtwaist Fire garment things? No, because it was 1916. Burnt down in 1911. But I mean, that's always meant a lot to me down there. And then, of course, it's the NYU biology building, chemistry building, and they fought us. Got a memorial up there now. And a lot of great activists on the Shirtwaist Fire. The woman that made the dresses from the Design Institute there, that professor, I love her. That's one of the greatest pieces of activism I've ever seen. Those students designed those beautiful blouses and put the women who lost their lives names on it. It's powerful as hell. I get so emotional when I'm there. And there's Lower Manhattan Trump trials going on literally feet from it. Hamilton's grave's right there. I love fucking Lower Manhattan. I used to hang around down there. I used to love to hang around down there on the weekends, before it became a tourist trap. That place was so fucking cool and so eerie. I call it the canyons. You walk through this canyon. That's the day that David Bowie come. I'm with Eric Oppenheim and crew, and we did that walking the American Graffiti piece that we did. Great pieces, great activism. But this guy, I'm over there talking to him at the Shirtwaist Fire, and he's got his hat down, and he's visiting with me, blah, blah. And finally, some people walked over, and they're like, who's that you're talking to? And I remember Eric says, I know who it is. And I said, who do you think it is? And he says, that was David Bowie. And I says, yeah, how did you know that? And he handed me $300, So, but that was then. This is now. I want to say this because we got Indian Point shut down also. I used to do a lot of work out there. Whew. I used to get guns pulled on me out there. There, don't fuck around. The activists that got Oyster Creek shut down. They got Pilgrim shut down. What fucking great people. What great fighters. They got Yankee fucking shut down. But it was really the kicking of San Onofre down started this effect. And we shut down Oyster Creek, Pilgrim, Indian Point, Palisades, all these nightmare fucking reactors. We shut down so many fucking reactors in this fucking country. They weren't intended, but they were afraid of us. The group of activists at San Onofre, what we did, we'll never get any credit for it. But what we did is legend. It's the greatest piece of grassroots activism in human fucking history. Thanks to these guys. The Marines that whistleblowed to me that worked in there, they worked security. To this day, people don't even know who they are. Because they're afraid of the nuclear industry. They're afraid the nuclear industry will kill them. Oh, that doesn't happen. Ask them Karen Silkwood. So I have a lot of stuff. I mean, my career as the activist, but my greatest accomplishment in my life, I just came from my grandson's soccer game. He's in the 7th grade playing on the 9th grade team. He's a beast. These athletes. Raising my grandkids, raising my children. Yeah, for sure. As the activist, my greatest accomplishment, that's saying a lot. I've done a lot, is the shutdown of San Onofre. I could be no more proud of that. And the people that, Ace Hoffman, Gene Stone, Myla Reason, Gary Hedrick, Kathy Iwani. Kathy Iwani's so marquee. I can't say enough about that group of people, what we were able to do. There should be statues of us there standing there. And when we get the earthquake at Diablo and the big tsunami, Mothers for Peace, Jane and Linda, they're fighting their ass off and trying. I'm trying. I shut down San Onofre. I think about it all the time. Who would have believed it? The domes are going to come down next year. They're here in Utah, which I am happy about that. But what an accomplishment. Shirtwaist Fire, What an event. I miss being at that event. All my activism, and come on, I mean, all the activism I did in New York for all those fucking years, all over the world. I'll get back at it. I'm recovering from fucking open heart surgery. I have a pacemaker now, just ripped to shreds. I was talking about today. I've been I don't know. My body was just fucking hammered the last decade since 2011 when I got cancer, and I'm coming back. I've gained 30 pounds of muscle back now. It's been an epic thing, but I think about all the activism I've ever done all over. Then fuck, I mean, God, I mean, blow your mind the shit I've seen and the shit I've done. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nothing to me makes me more emotional than the Shirtwaist fire event. That event is Lower Manhattan. Is just something about it. I'm bloodlines of Alexander Hamilton. His grave's right there. It's so powerful. You can just feel those young women's vibe in there, and the way they do the ceremony, put the ladder up, ring the bell, read the names off. It's so powerful. You can just feel the vibe of those young women just pouring over you, fucking, saying thank you for remembering us, thank you, and you can just feel it, and it just empowers you. It gives me strength, as I've always said, fighting San Onofre. You're no match for me, you fucking nuclear dirtbag motherfuckers. You are no fucking match for me. For all the angels that you killed, all the fish, all the dolphins, all the fucking whales, all the people, like my father, you're no match. But those angels, they watch out over me. They empower me. Because Kevin D, I'm from the sea. I'm not in denial. I am from this. I was literally conceived and made on that beach. That's an arguable fact. My tennis playing La Jolla mother and my San Onofre Marine father. I was mutated from birth. So read this. Stop boiling the fucking Earth's water with fucking uranium and poisoning the fucking planet. The San Onofre shut down. I mean, it's only been what? 10 years? 11 years. 11 years. And look what we've accomplished. It's hard to sit back and pull, but think about it. Fuck it. I mean, these things are tumbling down. You read on the internet, you think there's a nuclear propaganda in it, but they're no match for us. For they are many and we are few. But again, we have all these spiritual animals. We have the gray whales, we have the humpbacks, we have the seals. We have all these sacred creatures and animals, sea turtles, these humans that died way too young of cancer, like my father, like Anna, like so many that I was in the bone marrow, like Paul, my best friend. I left that thing here. Carla and Kevin and Carla. I never forget those people. They all died. Martha Jensen. I was in that fighting. These nuclear scumbags took their lives too early. I made promises in that bone marrow transplant center. Oh, I'll keep them. I'll fight them to my death. That's for sure. Then some. So you're no match, you nuclear fucking dirtbags. You read this article. It's a must read. But at least the one piece they did get right was the stop boiling the water, and it's a major step. Boiling all the Earth's water is not going to cool the planet. These nuclear meltdowns and boiling all through, and that's their answer because it's got steam. San Onofre, a song to end all fucking songs. Stand tuned. Shirtwaist Fire, March 25th, 2011. 1911, excuse me. What a journey. Stand tuned.